intraday. Look at the western Tamil Nadu as well as the central part. It's very poor, less than 1% of the coverage, whereas intraday, somehow Tripur are fine. We have multiple districts less than 10%. So the topic you said, no, the dilemma. This dilemma was there ever since the inception of COVID vaccine was started way back. There were multiple players playing together. It's a racing against time. There were like ethical crossover issues were there, because especially for any vaccine trials, this will be there because we can't give a placebo and you can't give a second vaccine to that control group. So that's an issue. So the ethical issues will be there, and trial disruption by multiple pharma. They were like, for obvious reasons, they don't want their opponents to come up good. So there were like several instances of trial disruptions, and there were informed concerns even in phase 3, where right now we are having in Covaxin. So many dilemmas right now we have. And this, you guys can remember in my previous presentation, I had uh, shown you that there is a vaccine target product profile. This is like a a guideline for any vaccines which was set up. So as far as COVID is concerned, this is for all age group, and it should have an at least 70% efficacy, if not 50 percent for at least a minimal criteria, and durability should be for at least 1 year, and ideally it is non-parenteral, but we failed. So we fulfilled this. So this is the global approved vaccines as of now. I had taken away the China vaccine, which was proven to be, lesser than 50% efficacy, which is the basic criteria. We have the Oxford AstraZeneca. That is a viral vector. That is a genetically modified virus in the chimpanzee. With that, it will replicate gene. So it will be like a live attenuated replicating virus with an extra gene. That gene will mimic a protein, and they will function as produce that antibody response. So this is how this Oxford AstraZeneca will be functioning, and this is the Covishield. And this is a two dose with the varying efficacy has been shown across the countries, and 60 to 90%, and regular fridge temperature, that is 2 to 8 degrees. So this is a very important as far as tropical countries like India is concerned. Second thing is the Moderna, where that's an mRNA vaccine, which is quite expensive in terms of cost effectiveness. And the dose is again 2 doses, which have a very high efficacy, is 95%. The other player, which was the first vaccine to be approved, licensed globally, that is Pfizer. It's again an mRNA vaccine. So again, it's a 2 dose with a very high efficacy. But the issue is its storage. We need to store in a very minimal temperature of freezing temperature, minus 20 to 70 degrees. The other one, Sputnik from Russia, is a viral vector. Again, 2 doses, which are very good efficacy. Now comes to the India, the Covishield and Covaxin has been into the market right now. Apart from that, we have the Zycovi-Do, that is Cadila, and Sputnik, and Novavax by Serum Institute. Funny thing is, they are still finished as phase 2, but India had purchased almost like 150 billion doses of Novavax. I don't know when they will release it, because right now, Covishield and Covaxin is in the fray. Apart from that, we have MIT US with the Hyderabad's Biological Limited, and Pune. Some other vaccine trials have been going on. So coming to our main, topic, that is for today's. Right now, we have 2 vaccines in the fray in the country: Covishield and Covaxin. As far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, we got the Covishield, whereas the Covaxin is still in phase 3 trial. It's happening elsewhere in the country, including our MMC, that's Rajiv Gandhi Medical College. So for every COVID vaccines, this is the criteria. That is, right now we are using it as per the WHO's emergency use approval criteria. So it is indicated only for 18 years and above. So we have this COVID vaccine campaign. We are doing it in a campaign. It's in a three phases: phase one, two, and three. Phase one is for frontline workers, especially the healthcare workers, who in turn will become the vaccinators in the consecutive rounds. And phase two for other pregnant as well as elderly people, whereas phase three for the general population. So it will be like 2 more years, most probably. And this is for 18 years and above, all COVID vaccines. And co-administration of vaccines, because when most of you had worked in a government setup, usually what we do is we can usually we can do co-administration of vaccine, multiple vaccines at simultaneously. But for COVID, we can't do that. At least interval of 14 days should be there. And one more thing is interchangeability is not permitted. So one dose of if you took the first dose as Covishield, you can't go back to take the Covaxin as the second dose. So both the dose should be of the same manufacturer. So this is how these basic criteria. Coming to the contraindication, both were like good and safe vaccine. And so the person with a history of anaphylaxis or allergic reactions with any previous dose of COVID, or they have any other anaphylactic history, they should be not given the vaccine in that. This is not an absolute contraindication, but since it's a campaign, it's for the free, and effective campaign. We need to don't give this to these people, especially pregnancy and lactation. Again, I'm saying pregnancy and lactation, this vaccine hasn't been tried in the trials. That's why. Otherwise, the initial, reports from the elsewhere countries, they had given to pregnancy and pregnant and lactating mothers. Again, some temporary contraindications. If they have any active symptoms of SARS-CoV infections, or if they had been a part of any trial, or if they had given their antibodies or plasma donors, then they can wait till 4 to 8 weeks. And obviously, those who are unwell and hospitalized, they can't be given this vaccine. These are all trivial temporary contraindications. And special precautions, especially with the persons with any bleeding or coagulation disorders, they can be uh, uh, given, but under proper medications. So another thing is, following conditions are not contraindicated to COVID vaccines, especially those who had a history of infection, or if you had a CT positive or seropositivity or RT-PCR positive, they can take the vaccine. Uh, Only those who have an active illness, that is the 14 days, they can wait for 4 weeks. And any other chronic disease and morbidities, chronic disease and comorbs like even diabetic or cardiovascular or neurological issues, they can take this well and good. And very important thing, this is the first time these sectors are included, because usually we don't give vaccines to these immunodeficient and immunosuppressing patients, especially the live vaccines. But this Covishield is obviously is a live vaccine which can be given, whereas the Covaxin, it's absolutely safe since it's a killed inactivator. So all the immunodeficient HIV patients and immunosuppressive drugs can take this. But the thing is, the immune response will take a bit time, obviously. So other things we are yet to identify. So that post-marketing surveillance will come in to see whether these vaccines have any vaccine-specific contraindications. So these are the two players now, Covishield and Covaxin. Covishield is, it's a viral vector technology. It's a recombinant vaccine, whereas the Covaxin is a whole virion inactivated vaccine. So this is a live attenuated with the recombinant vector gene. This is a 10 dose vial that is 0.5 ml per beneficiaries, and shelf life is very less. So whenever we get it, we need to administer double quick time. Both have a 6 month shelf life and doesn't have a vaccine vial monitor. So those with the medical officers experience would have known this vaccine vial monitor. This will show when the vaccine can be used. It has multiple stages, one, two, three, four. That is, uh, I'm not going to it. So this will give the potency of the vaccine at the field level. And both the vaccines are intramuscular, that upper arm, 0.5 ml, two doses with 4 weeks apart, and again stored at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius at all levels, especially at the field level. This is the ILR, and this is how multiple vaccines will be stored. So this should be, COVID vaccine should be kept at the topmost because it is freeze sensitive. As the, as we go down in the ILR, the temperature is very lesser. So these are all the heat sensitive vaccines, and COVID has to be kept it here, which is heat and it's a freeze sensitive as well as the heat sensitive. So it is a double family. Coming to the most important thing right now, we don't have much AEFIs following Covishield. Mild AEFI might occur. Injection site tenderness or pain, or sometimes they will get fever, chills, or arthralgia, and the other regular symptoms like headache, fatigue, myalgia, and all. So paracetamol can be given post vaccination, to uh, target all these things. And very rare, we are getting some very rare cases of demyelinating disorders, especially uh, that acute demyelinating encephalomyelitis will be there, some transverse myelitis. This is very rare, but still they've been reported. And those who have a history of thrombocytopenia, they should be given cautiously. So this is for Covishield. It's a live, so live vaccine. So sometimes live vaccine have a predisposing thing for demyelination. So that's the thing. Whereas the Covaxin, right now we are in the phase 3 trial, so we don't have much information about it. Still, what are the early reports of phase 2? Given this, all the basic things of fatigue, fever, body ache, tremors, headache, all sort of regular mild AEFIs. So these are the two AEFIs as far as Covaxin and Covishield is concerned. And I don't want to go much into it. Since it is a campaign mode, we need to do a successful campaign by, there are multiple things we need to follow, starting from the manufacturing, ensuring the safe manufacturing without any defects, which will prevent the AEFIs, and again, maintaining cold chain from the manufacturing site to the beneficiaries, conditioning of ice packs. Well, though those who had worked in the PHCs would have known, your staffs would have kept a lot of ice packs, from the deep freezers to the just over the table, because it will prevent the freezing of freeze sensitive vaccines, because freeze sensitive vaccines are a lot of adjuvants like aluminum hydroxide or phosphate buffer, which will break the vaccine bond. So this conditioning of ice packs is a must. And obviously the safe injection practices, proper setting up of vaccination sites. You would have seen this, those who had taken the vaccination sites were of beautifully strategically located and placed. And finally the AFI preventions and reporting. So AFI, there were like, I don't want to go into much details into it. Just look into this. These were the 5 type of AFIs, and each one can be, if you focus, each we can make a vaccine 100% safe by uh, concentrating in that. This is the product related, which we can't do anything. This is what I had shown, that body pain and malaise. These were like mild AFIs, whereas the other 4 we have to prevent it. The vaccine quality defect, because those days when there is no strict vigilance on vaccine manufacturing, lot many events had happened. But right now we don't have any such vaccine quality defect, especially in the attenuation, especially in we had a thing in UK, as well as this is for IPV, I think long back. We don't have that. a vaccine quality defect. And number 3 and 4 is in our hands. That is immunization error related. Any error in the cold chain, any error in the vaccinating poor technique, or any other reasons. And finally, we have anxiety related reactions, because we are dealing with adults. So obviously, they will be anxious on seeing the others getting vaccine. So these three we have to prevent it, so that we can be like 100% safe. Coincidental, we don't need to bother much about it. And AFIs, for any vaccines, when you look into it, these were the usual AFIs, common self-limiting reactions what we had seen. Whereas the severe can be life disabling, or life, it won't life threaten, but still it's a long-term issues. Whereas the serious, especially the deaths, hospitalization, disability, these were the concerns. So how to prevent this? As I said, cold chain is always vaccine always goes hand in hand with the cold chain. Whatever the good vaccines, if you don't maintain a cold chain it across all the levels from the GMST, that is from the central uh, vaccine storage to the session site, it should be kept in 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. And this is the vaccination site. Those who would have got the vaccine today would have, think about it. There are three separate room, one for the waiting room with the proper hand sanitizing facilities, vaccination room with very privacy, and not more than a single beneficiary at a time. Then again, observation room where they were kept now with the proper ventilation, proper IECs, and social distancing. So this is how all three in a separate room. So anaphylaxis, every ANMs were trained to handle the anaphylaxis. Whatever the vaccine we deal, anaphylaxis will be the same. There is anything, any untoward event, rapid progression of hypersensitivity within 30 minutes. So they can manage at that field level. And adrenaline is the drug of choice. Since we are dealing only with the adults in this round, this is 0.5 ml. That is, if you are using tuberculin syringe, or 20 units if they are using insulin syringe, whatever it may be. This is the dosage. I am that you should not preload that adrenaline. It should be always kept in ready, but don't preload. Mm, Coming to your questions, since I don't want to go much further into